Hey y'all, KJ Simpson here, author of the #1 bestseller, The All-Inclusive Diet, and I help people cultivate energy, restore balance, and live a life of abundance from the inside out. Today's topic is, should you switch to a plant-based diet? Well, I tried this diet and there was 3 shocking things that I discovered that I want to share with you here today. So it all started with me watching a movie called What's the Health? It's a documentary on Netflix. I totally recommend that you watch it. Now, I've watched other documentaries and I'm well versed with plant-based diets. I've read plenty of books, done plenty of research, but I was really afraid to switch to this kind of diet for 2 reasons. Number 1, I thought that I wouldn't get enough protein. And I'm protein focused, just like most of you folks out there. And because of my bodybuilder background, that's part of my belief system that I needed a lot of protein in my diet. And the other thing is, if I was taking protein out, or so I thought I would be, that I'd have to replace it with carbohydrates. And I have some hang-ups with carbohydrates as well, that perhaps I would gain weight, I would feel more bloated, that I would lose my physique and lose my performance with too many carbohydrates. So these were my hang-ups, and it hung me up for about a year while I sat on the fence and procrastinated. So finally, my Mandy, who I watched the movie with, she said, why don't you just try it out for 7 days? And that's exactly what I did. And that's when I discovered these 3 things that I didn't really expect would happen with the plant-based diet. So first of all, what is a plant-based diet? Quite simply, it's a diet consisting of whole foods, so unrefined, unprocessed, unpackaged type of foods. And they try to minimize or even eliminate dairy and all of the animal protein products, for example, chicken, beef, and eggs. And these things, again, are minimized or completely excluded. And that's what the plant-based diet is. It's different than the vegan diet. A lot of vegans, they still have eggs, for example, or they will still include dairy products. So this is strictly whole, natural, live foods. So I discovered some shockingly bad things and some shockingly good things about the plant-based diet. Let's start off with the bad. So first of all, I noticed that I had a lot of bloating and a lot of gas when I first started with the plant-based diet. The second thing is that I was tracking my food, was logging my food, and I found that I couldn't get enough protein. Again, I have expectations to have a high amount of protein each and every day, and I didn't see that happening, and that concerned me. And the third thing is that I gained weight. The first week on this plant-based diet, I gained 3 pounds, and obviously I was very concerned about that, and I went over, the maximum weight that I've set for myself, so I really had to make some changes. But before I get into what I did to make everything work with the plant-based diet, I want to tell you about the shockingly good things that happened. So the first thing is my strength and my endurance. I thought my performance would decrease. I didn't think I would be as strong on the plant-based diet because I thought that it was lacking in protein, but quite the opposite actually. I couldn't believe the strength and the endurance I had while I was training while on the plant-based diet. So that's number 1. Number 2 is hydration. I'm very sensitive to being dehydrated. When I get dehydrated, automatically my energy level drops and I get headaches and I get tired. So, these are the symptoms of dehydration for me. So I'm drinking water throughout the day. I didn't have to drink as much water while I was on the plant-based diet. And that was great because, I didn't have to be so conscious of always staying hydrated. And it also told me that, okay, this must be a healthy diet because the reason why I was drinking so much more is perhaps because there was a lot more, toxicity in my body that needed to be flushed, and that's why I needed more water. So it was an indicator of health for me, which was a plus. The second thing is that I just wasn't as hungry as I normally was. So I had more satiety, as we called it, or the feeling of feeling full. And that was a great thing, especially in the evening times when I typically, I'm a late night snacker and I'll get into, snacks later in the evening, and I didn't have the cravings for those snacks as much while I was trying out this plant-based diet. The third thing is, well, have you ever heard the saying, your shit don't stink? Well, my shit still did stink. It's probably too much information for you, but I'm gonna tell you anyways because it's important, and I think it's an indicator of health as well. So my shit did stink, but it just didn't stink as much. And that was obviously very refreshing too for everyone in the household. But it also told me that, okay, I look at bodybuilder and as far as elimination, these kinds of things, if they have a certain smell, they're trying to tell you something. So here's the summary of my story, my experience with the plant-based diet. First of all, it wasn't a 7-day story. It was actually a 30-day story. There was so much positive things going on when I switched to this diet that I tried to extend it as far as I could. The only thing that set me off was when I went away on business travel, and I found it very difficult to stay on a plant-based diet that was protein focused. But other than that, when I came back, I actually adopted a lot of these principles from the plant-based diet, and I'm still doing it today. So what I'd like you to do next, if you want to try the plant-based diet and you are focused on trying to get as much protein in your diet as possible, is I want you to consider supplementing with it. This is a brand that I spoke about. It's Vega, and there's lots of protein powders that are plant-based on the market today that you can try out, but it is a lot easier if you're trying to get X amount of grams or X amount of percentage of protein as a macro in your diet if you do supplement with it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I would try to reduce the amount of beans. When we eat beans, it's a certain type of carbohydrate that our gut flora just loves, but it does produce a lot of gas. So you might want to try to have a little bit more lentils than you would beans, just to decrease the amount of bloating and gas that typically beans cause for most people anyways. And third of all, and final, and it's a very, very important point, you need to decrease your portions, okay? This is all scientifically sound, good natural food, and it's easy for us to justify because it's so good for us that we can eat more of it. But that's not the case. And in fact, you don't need more of it because you're going to feel more full in this diet. It's full of water, it's full of fiber, and those two things are what usually keeps us full and controls our blood sugar. So you can really decrease the amount of portions that you normally would have with each meal and still feel full. So if you like this video, please comment, please share, send me some love, send me some feedback. And if you'd like a free copy of my book, please go to chrisjsimpson.com/books. That's Chris with a K, K-R-I-S, jsimpson.com/books. And I'll give you a free copy of the #1 bestseller, the all-inclusive diet. I've already purchased the book for you. You just have to pay for shipping and handling, and I'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Until the next time we meet again, my friend, keep on inspiring to aspire.